for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to just sort of continue on, the same line briefly, or just maybe make a statement that our chairman of the full committee, as well as Ms. Lowy, Ms. Wasserman Schultz, pretty much everybody up here agrees. We've been giving you all a lot of money. And I've been on this committee with General Shinseki, who I served under at Fort Hood, with Mr. McDonough. He was a military man. Mr. McDonald, businessman. You're a doctor. By the way, we have a lot in common, even though I'm from Florida. I grew up in Philadelphia, we have a Pittsburgh connection, so I'm rooting for you. But, and you talked about working with General Mattis and trying to get this continuity of care. And we all talk about in the stump when we are, down in our districts, that if you put the uniform on and serve this country, we're going to take care of you. As you mentioned, Lincoln, we often reference Washington. The country can measure itself by how it treats its veterans. And one of the things that we say, from the time that you enlist or the time that you get commissioned to the time that you die, you will not be, left out in the cold. We're going to take care of you. And one of the things that people ask me about is, well, where does it fall through the cracks? And we often talk about how, even though we're giving you all the money that you need, that, the difference between DOD and the VA is way too big. And whether it's, the electronic records or just the fact that you have to basically start all over when you leave the military and you PCS and you get into the veterans, program, whatever it is. I guess my first question to you is, if General Mattis has a better idea than you do, will you agree to go to his program just to get this moving? And I ask you this for this reason. You could be the best VA secretary of all time if you solve this one problem. And I mean, every time we sit up here and talk to people at this table, that we always keep asking the same question. And I know that there's a lot of bureaucracy, and I know that there's a lot of pride and whatever the problem is, but we just hope that this, if it means you saying to Mattis, you know what, you're right, you have a better program, we're going to go with your program, will you do it?
Yeah. First of all, thank you for your comments, and I appreciate your perspective on this issue, how important it is. I'm only here for one reason, and that's to solve the problems that have plagued VA. I wish it was only one problem, by the way, but I agree with you. This is certainly an important problem for us. Anybody, whether it's Secretary Mattis or anyone else who has a better idea than I have, I'm going to take it. The answer to your question is yes. We want to resolve this issue in the best way, and if it means taking somebody else's idea, we're going to do that.
I mean, it would be so good to be able to go home and stand up on the stump and tell these guys, I come from a district with a lot of retirees in Florida, a lot of military retirees, and tell these guys, if you put on the uniform of this country, we are going to take care of you. Basically, if you need the health or the mental health after you serve, it's one of the advantages of joining is that you know that you're going to be taken care of when you get out. So that would be a huge help to all of us up here who are trying to convince people that fighting for this country has benefits well beyond just, the pride of service. One quick thing, since I'm running out of time, and this is more specific to my district. I'm having my constituent services representatives down in Florida are telling me that we're getting a lot of people that are moving to Florida, as they always do, from other parts of the country, and they're going in to get care at our VA. And because of whatever breakdown in coverage, they are told that in my district that they are told to start a new treatment plan or return to the state to where they came from, where they were already getting care for whatever problems that they were having. And this is kind of absurd from the standpoint of that we've actually got 5 or 6 specific cases where people that live in Florida can't get the care that they were getting in their other states, so they're actually, rather than starting over in Florida, going back to their state where they came from and using that VA because they're already in that system. This again gets to that system where there shouldn't be any lapse in coverage, but there is. Can you talk about that? Have you heard about this at all, or?
I haven't heard about your specific situations, but I hope your directors are watching this right now, because what you described is unacceptable. We have one VA system. Veterans should be able to get care at any VA that they go into, and that is our commitment. I am not at all doubting that it doesn't work all the time.
Right.
I certainly hear many examples where it does work, and people are able to get care. They're traveling, they lose their medications, they're able to get to a VA, get them refilled, get the care they need. That is the system that we are, that's our expectation of how we manage the system, and I will re-clarify that to our field.
Thanks, Doctor. Good luck.